Hey guys, welcome back to Project Rebuild, and today we're going to be looking at PlayStation 2. So I've got a nice stack of PlayStation 2 games that I've added to the collection over the last 2 months since my previous video, and I've been spending most of my time recently just playing games. I haven't been spending a lot of money, so that's why I've only got 10 games to show you today. As you know, PlayStation 2 is fairly cheap, so you can buy quite a lot of games quickly. But I've been taking my time, I've just been enjoying the games I've got, and I'm going to pick up some more once I've finished these. Although some of them, I don't think some of them I'm actually going to finish because, yeah, they're a little bit frustrating where I've got to, I'm stuck, which I'll explain when I get to the games. But the first one is a game that I finished for the second time yesterday, and I've really enjoyed this game. It's absolutely incredible, and it is 24 the game. So based on the TV show with the character Jack Bauer, played by Kiefer Sutherland. Absolutely one of my favourite shows. I don't know if you can see it in the background maybe. I've got all of the seasons over there on DVD and Blu-ray. I love this, it's one of my favourite shows of all time. The game is so well done. I've talked about it before on my channel, but I'm going to talk about it again because, as I say, I just finished it for the second time yesterday. I had so much fun with the game. It's absolutely brilliantly crafted. It is literally just like an interactive version of the TV show. It is unreal. You know, it has all the sound effects, the music, it has the cutscenes are done just like the TV show, so you get all the box sets with the whoosh sound effects, and you got all the characters talking to each other. You've got all the original actors playing, like Jack, Tony, Michelle, Chase, Kim, Ryan Chappelle. I think this is, I can't remember if this is set after season 3 or between 2 and 3. I think it's after 3 because there is a trailer for season 4 on the disc, so that would make sense that it's after season 3. But I could have sworn, and it's been a long time, I know season 3 was the one where Jack got the tattoo on his arm. He'd been hanging out with the Mexican cartel guy. I thought Chase and Kim were together at that point, but according to the game, they've only just met, so maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe it is set between 2 and 3 and they made the game after season 3, and that's why there's a trailer for season 4. That would probably make sense. It's been a long time since I watched the show, so I don't know. But it's really good. It feels to me like the people who made it either were massive fans of the show or just really wanted to make the best licensed game they could, because there's so much detail in there. As I say, you have all the box sets and the cutscenes, you've got all the original actors back to play the roles, and they don't just do voiceover work, they actually play the roles as if they was on the TV show. So it comes across a lot better, I feel. It does feel like the actual show. And even little things like the sound effects for the guns, which I love, when you get the silenced pistol and it sounds like the one from the TV show. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, really enjoyed it. There's a lot of varied gameplay as well. Most of it is third-person cover shooting, where you play as Jack, you play as Kim and Michelle when you're in CTU. You get to play Chase, who's undercover, and you also get to go on a couple of missions with Tony as well, which is great because Tony Almeida is my favourite character. Obviously Jack Bauer is like number one, but I mean, for me it was always Tony. I love Tony. And not only do you do third-person cover shooting, you also get to drive cars, which for the most part, once I'd worked out the controls were okay. Initially, I didn't realise I was pressing X to accelerate and the car was hardly moving, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't escape the cops and couldn't get to the mission objective. And in the end, I figured it out, and it didn't tell me in the game to do this, but what you have to do is use the right-hand stick. So the right-hand analog stick, you push forward to accelerate, pull back to brake, and you use, I think it was R1 is your handbrake, and you use the left stick to move the car. Once I figured that out, it was so much easier to get the speed up and to escape the pursuits. Although I will say the 2 sections where you have to get to Koreatown are a bit of a nightmare, because you're on the freeway and the cops are just like these early generation games like Grand Theft Auto 3, where the cops are just like on you like glue and they just keep battering your car. It does it in Smuggler's Run as well, and you just can't move your car. You physically cannot move it because there's so many cop cars around you. That happens in 24 quite a bit, and I was getting a bit annoyed. And there was one part where on those 2 Koreatown parts, they have a pursuit bar at the bottom of the screen, and that pursuit bar has to be at 0 before it'll let you go to the mission objective. Otherwise you have to lose the cops, and it was a pain in the arse because you're driving around and I'm round by the objective and it's just down the street, but I can't go there. I have to go like 10 miles out of my way just to escape the police. Now you can bash the cars and set them alight and blow them up, but it damages your car as well, so you run the risk of blowing your car up and killing Jack or Tony, which is quite annoying. So I got a bit frustrated by that, but I got through it in the end and I did it. They also have lots of little mini mission things where you have to defuse bombs, you have to work out codes, you have to enter codes that are read to you. You also have to do interrogations, which are like Quantic Dream style of games, you know, like Heavy Rain, that kind of thing. That is really interesting. I found it a little bit tough. The first one I could do quite easily, After that, I found it I really struggled with the second and third, especially the second one with the drug addicts. It drove me crazy, that did. So what happens is they have a cutscene, and it's all shot like it would be in the TV show. And so you have Jack doing one, you have Tony doing another one. And so Jack's interrogating this person, and on the right-hand side, there's a long vertical bar and a horizontal bar that moves up and down. And you have to press, I believe it was triangle for aggression, square was in the middle, I can't remember what they called that, and then X was to calm the person down. And you have to get it in that bar as it's moving, and it'll make a certain noise so you know you've hit it and it'll light up. It's a nightmare because you're under a timer where you have like 3 minutes, so I'm rushing to get it done. And the problem is if you mess it up, you have to keep listening to the same dialogue over and over again as you hit the same point. And then when you eventually get to the point where you're going to break this person and get the information that you require, you have to hit circle, but the thing's going quite fast and you have to just nail it. And if you don't nail it after about 3 or 4 attempts, it just fails you anyway. And God, it's so frustrating. It drives me crazy. But you know, it's a minor thing. The actual game itself is so much fun. There's so much variety. It's just like an interactive 24 episode. I love the fact they've got all the actors to do the roles and play them properly, not just do crap voiceover. The game controls are good enough for what they are at that generation. The gunplay is really fun. You've got the R2 button, which allows you to shout things like CTU or Federal Agent or something like put your weapons down, that kind of thing. It's just random stuff. So I tend to just run into a room, kill everyone, and then click the button and go, CTU, Federal Agent. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I'm telling you, it's one of the best, if not the best, licensed games I've ever played. I'm really, really impressed with it. And whether you're a fan of 24 or if you've never seen the show, it doesn't really matter. I would recommend playing the game because it is so much fun. And it's dirt cheap as well. Next one is a game that I recently saw Clay from Clay Graphics talk about. A game I've talked about a stupid amount of times on my channel. But Clay had just picked it up for the Xbox. He'd already got the PS2 version. And he was giving his thoughts because he finally played it. And that is Black. So obviously if you watch my channel, you know I love this game. I've talked about it many times over. It's a fantastic title. Got it on the PS2. I've got to be honest, like Clay, I really can't see a lot of difference between the Xbox and PlayStation versions. Xbox, because of the power, does have slightly better graphics. I mean very slightly. And you really have to look for the differences. But I think other than that, the games pretty much feel the same to me. And the PlayStation 2 has a 60Hz mode as well, which is great. And yeah, it's nice to see games that have the 60Hz mode. 24 has the same, it has 50, 60, and it also has progressive 480p for anyone who's got component options, which is very nice indeed. But yeah, Black's great, plays just as well as it does on the Xbox. There's a very minor difference between the two. Something I do find odd though, I've got to be honest. That game came out in 2005, the PlayStation 2 came out in 2000, Xbox 2001. So you're talking 5 and 4, years between the consoles coming out and the game coming out. That game runs smooth as anything, and there's a lot of detail in that game, a lot going on. And yet there's games I've got coming up in a minute where they're not as detailed and the frame rate is absolutely horrendous. I really don't understand. I mean, obviously it's down to the programming, but yeah, really strange. So that's Black. Next one I picked up is a compilation, which I've heard about many times on YouTube, and I wanted to give it a shot and see what it was like on the PlayStation 2. And that is Intellivision Lives. Now, I've never owned a Intellivision, never played one. The only reason I know about Intellivision is because of the upcoming Intellivision Amico console. And so I have got the first Intellivision cartridge that came out for Evercade. And I've played a few games, Astro Smash being my favourite, probably second favourite was Shark. Really fun. But I wanted to get that because I wanted to try it on the CRT and see what they look like with RGB and proper CRT picture. And Astro Smash looks fantastic. It's really, really good. I've only played a couple of games, mostly Astro Smash because it's so fun. The good thing is that collection as well has its own background music, which I really liked. Now, of course, that's not authentic to the original games, but it just adds a little bit extra when you're playing Astro Smash and you've got this really cool music playing in the background. And yeah, it looks nice, and the controls are really good as well. On the Evercade, it uses the keypad for the actual original controller. You have to access that sometimes on the screen. With this, you don't. It just they map the buttons and you just go with it, and they work quite well. So yeah, it's really good. I'm glad to have it in the collection anyway, so I can experience a lot of the Intellivision games I haven't, because as it says on the front, there's over 60 games, which is pretty good. So next up, I was playing this game last night and it still frustrates me, and I don't think I'm ever going to complete it, and it really frustrates me because I want to, because I really like this game, but it's just so annoying. It's Medal of Honor Frontline. Now, I recently played Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor Underground on PS1 again, played through them. Absolutely brilliant, really fun to play through, no issues. I can complete them easily. I can't complete this game. I've been trying since this game came out to complete it, and I cannot do it. The level Arnhem Knights, which is the one where you walk down the steps, there's an English guy against the wall telling you what to do with the red beret, and then you have to go through different areas. And the first one, you have to kill a load of Nazis on the street. Second one, you kill some Nazis and blow up a tank by using the MG42. Then you have some guys in a courtyard, the Panzer Brigade, these Nazis with bazookas, which are a nightmare because you've got them, you've got 4 of them, and you've got a guy on an MG42. I've never been able to get through that, and then recently I managed to do it, and last night I went through it really quickly. I was like, oh, fantastic. But the part after that, you have to kill some more guys on the street, and the tank turns up. The tank's so far down the street. I'm using the bazooka, and I just, for some reason, I'm going to have to watch a YouTube video. I cannot blow the tank up. I've tried multiple times, 8 rockets last night, and not one of them seemed to hit the bloody tank. And I was just getting shot by the blokes. I've got a sniper on the roof, which I didn't know was there, so I had to go back and do him. No matter how many times I do it, I can't do that level. And it really frustrates me because I love Medal of Honor games. The first 2 are fantastic, as I say. I can play through the PS1 games, no problem. Don't have any issues with those. But this one is a great game up until Arnhem Knights. And I've spoken to people in the comments before who've said that they have also found that's a difficult level, but once you get past it, it's good. I really want to finish the game because all the levels before that were so much fun, but that bloody level. So yeah, that's on the to-do list. Also, as I said about frame rate earlier, that's the one I'm talking about. The frame rate, most of the game works fine. It's pretty smooth until you get to Arnhem Knights. I don't know what happens on Arnhem Knights, but the frame rate is shite. It dips right down and it's so laggy. I mean, it's literally swaying instead of moving around, and it drove me crazy. It makes it really hard to see what's going on. It makes it really difficult to play. So yeah, I don't understand what's going on there. Maybe it's just the way they programmed it, or it's the PlayStation 2, but I can't see it being the PlayStation 2 if a game like Black can run smoothly and run at 60 as well. So I don't know. Next one is, by the way, I like the fact that it's got the PlayStation World sticker on the front with the old 10 out of 10. I don't think any game's a 10 out of 10. I don't know why people do that, but there you go. Next one we've got is Medal of Honor Rising Sun. So I've played this over the years. I haven't played this copy yet. I need to play this. I've been playing other games, so this will go in at some point. Honestly, I've never been a fan of Rising Sun. I like the intro, but I don't really care about the Pacific. I've always found it difficult to get into the Pacific campaigns with World War II, whether it be documentaries, films, TV shows, video games. I just never really grasped it. You know, with the Nazis, it's easy to get into that. It's easy to understand why Hitler's an evil bastard and why you should hate the Nazis, but when it comes to the Japanese, it never really has the same effects with me. So I want to try and sit down and play that and see if I can get further into it. Hopefully complete it, because it's kind of frustrating that like the first 2 games on the first PlayStation run smooth as butter and I can play them and get through them, no problem at all, and enjoy every minute of it. But this generation, the games just frustrate the hell out of me. Next one we got is a game I was playing recently. I really enjoyed this one until I got stuck again. Medal of Honor European Assault. So this, in my mind before I started playing this, was always the one I liked the most. Not anymore. I mean, this game is absolutely brilliant. There's no doubt about it. And the fact is, it's better because you get to use iron sights in this one. And it's a lot more like a modern game. And you get to do side missions if you choose to as well. You can run off and do that and save people. It's really, really cool. Great graphics, fantastic levels so far. But again, I've gotten to a Russian level, the first Russian level. I can't do it. I've tried and tried and tried. I even lowered the difficulty down to the very basic level, and I still couldn't do it. It's so difficult because you have boss fights in this game, and on the Russian level, you have to storm across the ground, and you come to a church, and there's a French resistance woman at the top of this building firing on the church to help you. You have to break through the gates, kill everyone in the graveyard, and then when you get into the church, eventually, if you get there, there's a boss inside, and you have to blow him away and then leg it. Now, I managed to finally get in there after multiple attempts. I got in there, killed him, ran outside. Bloody game spawns 2 Nazis behind me, shoot me in the face, I'm dead, start again. And it's like, God's sake, the amount of times. And it was, again, it's like front line. Up until that point, I was really enjoying the game. The levels were really fun, the graphics were gorgeous. And it felt a lot more like Medal of Honor Airborne, that kind of era from PlayStation 3. Yeah, really cool. So I will try again. I'm determined to do it because I want to finish the game. But it's really frustrating when that happens, when I'm enjoying a game so much, and then it hits that point where you're just like, oh, for God's sake. And you just get to that point, you're so frustrated, you want to throw the controller, and it's like, oh, I've got to take a break, come back tomorrow. Because it always helps. Next one, will probably be no surprise now. It's Medal of Honor Vanguard. So obviously this is a PlayStation 2 exclusive. I don't believe it's on GameCube. Definitely not on Xbox, unfortunately. It would have been great to have this on Xbox. This is great. This is basically a precursor to Medal of Honor Airborne, and it does it so well. I've managed before when I played this to get right to the very end of the game, and you have this sniper alley level where you have to sneak around on the floor and there's snipers everywhere. It's very difficult. And when I first played it originally, I used to play it on medium difficulty. This time I played it on easy, which to be honest is not easy anyway. The Nazis still give you a nice level of challenge and won't just stand around and get shot, which is great. And I've managed to get just before that sniper part, so I'm just about to come to the end of the game. But I remember last time I got through the sniper part after many attempts, and then you end up in a building and there's tanks in the distance, and I end up getting killed every time and I couldn't do it. So I feel like this time there's bits of this game I've gone through, especially where I am at the moment, on easy, and I found it a lot easier to get through. I didn't have any major issues. So I'm thinking that hopefully this time I'll be able to get through the end of the game. But at least I've experienced 95% of the game, even if I don't manage to do it. I've experienced the majority. And it's really good. You get to parachuting, you've got eye in sight, you can run. I think, hang on, can you run? That's a good question. I don't know if I'm lying about it. I think you can run. It's been a couple of weeks since I played it. But it feels very much like an early version of Medal of Honor Airborne, which is one of my absolute favourite Medal of Honor games. In fact, one of my favourite World War II games, full stop. So Vanguard, I would 100% recommend to everyone. It's really accessible, it doesn't piss you off, and it looks absolutely fantastic, and it's just great fun. And the sound design, absolutely exceptional. Yeah, really great game. So that's all the Medal of Honors ticked off, so that's good. That's one series of games done. See, PlayStation 2 is pretty cool in that respect, because certain series of games, they got an extra game that the Xbox didn't get, which is a real shame, because when I look at things like Medal of Honor Vanguard or 007 Quantum of Solace, imagine what they would have been like on Xbox. Real shame. Next one I got, I'm going to have to replace at some point, but I'm going to play it while I've got it. And that is Urban Chaos Riot Response. Yeah, that is right. So this is a cool first-person shooter. I played this probably a decade ago on Xbox. I haven't played it since. But I remember that you're a riot police officer, you've got your shield and you can use that to hit the enemies. And it was really fun, and the gorgeous graphics. So I'm very much looking forward to playing this again. The reason I've got to replace it is because I don't know if you can see there, but it's completely sun-faded, which they didn't advertise, and it was kind of annoying when it arrived. But the 18 there in particular is very badly sun-faded. So that did piss me off. Now I know it's probably not that big a deal, but the games are still cheap, so it's no hardship to just replace it and sell this or trade it on. But I will give it a play just so I can get back into it and see what Urban Chaos is like, because I remember really enjoying it. I remember I've got a gameplay on my channel. I remember getting to a stairwell and I got stuck. I kept getting killed, but it was a fun game. Right, I've got two more to show you. They arrived this morning actually. I've got to try them out in a bit. First one is a game that I played through not too long ago actually on Xbox and really enjoyed playing through it. I mean, I've played through it many times, but it's 007 Agent Under Fire. One of my favourite Bond games of this generation. It does everything right. I mean, it's got really cool cartoony graphics. But the thing that I love about it is it really balances the gameplay. You've got nice first-person shooting. You've got car sections. You've got really cool use of gadgets. The level design is fun. The game doesn't frustrate you. You've got on-rails bits as well. You're hanging out of cars or on a train track with an AK-47 blowing everyone away. It's really arcadey, really, really fun. And every level is easy to get through and nothing will annoy you. That's a good thing. So yeah, I really enjoy that game a lot. I'm really glad to have it back. And I'm going to sit down this afternoon and give it a play. Next and last game is... Why is that sticking to that? I've got water on my table. That's not good. Right, okay. Last one is 007 Nightfire. So I know apparently from what I've seen online, a lot of Bond fans and gamers rate this quite highly. I do as well. It's a really good game. It's definitely not my favourite Bond game. In fact, I would say for this generation, it's From Russia with Love. Although Quantum of Solace is a really, really solid game. But Russia with Love and Agent Under Fire are my two favourites. Everything or Nothing I find frustrating. It's not aged that well. It looks nice though. And GoldenEye is okay. I mean, I like it personally, but I recognise it's nowhere near as good as the other games. But Nightfire, yeah, it's pretty good. I got stuck. I was playing it a while ago, and there's only about a couple of levels in, not 3 or 4 levels in, and you have to sneak into this building and do some hacking and stuff, and I couldn't figure out where the hell I was going. There's guards everywhere, and there's rooms everywhere, and I'm just wandering around, and I'm like, I can't remember how to do this. The one good thing I did find out though, which I never knew about this game, and I played this game so many times, there's a YouTuber called Kelvin Dyson. He's a James Bond channel, really great guy, and he does a lot of reviews for the Bond games over the years. And I watched his reviews again recently, and when I watched his one for Nightfire, he showed me stuff I didn't know you could do, which at the beginning, when you're in the snowy part, when you come down those steps and there's the guards in the distance, you don't have to go straight up through the gates. You can go down the side. There's a little path that you can walk along, and then you go walking along the side of the building. I was like, I had no idea you could do that. So there's like alternate paths in the levels. So that's really cool that they tried to vary the gameplay, and I had no idea they did that. But there you go. So there you go, guys. That's the latest additions to the PlayStation 2 collection. Obviously, there'll be more when the games come in. As I say, I'm not really spending much money at the moment. I'm cutting right back. But when I do get around to buying some more games, I'll do another video and show you what I got. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Always helps the channel and get the video promoted. And if you want to see more videos from me, just click subscribe, ring that notification bell, and leave your thoughts down below about the games, guys. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.